The Pacers in the NBA Finals take game one, and it was consensual, in the words of Mike Beasley. The Pacers take game one. Tyrese Haliburton with the walk-off, basically. Left point three on the clock to steal game one in OKC. Jelani, Dalen Mason, a doll. What y'all gotta say, man? What y'all think about game one?
Man, Tyrese Haliburton, man, is everything, bro. Shout out to Tyrese. Shout out to their coaching staff, their role players. Shout out to the city of Indiana, man. I'm gonna make a bold statement right now, man. Tyrese Haliburton has brought the NBA back.
Oh,
I'm gonna tell you what I mean by that. You know, you got your conspiracy theorists out there, and I'm a Laker fan. Let me just say that first. Oh, Luca's with the Lakers to bring the ratings up and to make the game more exciting. We didn't need that, man. Halliburton is doing it. I'm a believer. I said this after game one of the New York Knicks series. I'm a believer. But after today, bro, what I've seen them do, being down by 14, 15, however many it was, with
yeah.
only a few minutes left, he's not scared of the moment. He took that jump shot and he hit it, bro. He hit it. And he's the first player that doesn't wear a Laker jersey to make me scream in public. I was at the cigar lounge watching the game. All the ain't nothing but OGs that smoke cigars. They all looking at me because they all Laker fans like me. But I'm
You
in
in
there
LA.
hyped like Luca LeBron hit the game winner because at the end of the day, as an NBA fan first, you want to
Yeah,
see good basketball. Like he making
absolutely.
the game exciting. And as y'all all know, I picked OKC in 6. I'm still riding with OKC, but I didn't think they would win game one. Like I thought the OKC had that. I thought it
Yeah,
would be competitive. I'm like,
yeah.
okay, OKC gonna get game one. Indiana might get game two. You know, we'll see what happens. But they came out and showed the country, the world, like, hey, we are Indiana, we here, and this ain't gonna be a blowout. This ain't gonna be easy for OKC. We gonna make them work for this championships, man. So I'm excited as an NBA basketball fan. Like, I loved every second of that game, and I'll never have nothing bad to say about Halliburton ever again. Period.
So
Those are my
check.
thoughts.
I'm about to double down on that.
Mm.
We just see. I think we're seeing the death of big market teams
Mm.
take a back
Mm.
small market teams. I
Mhm.
think that's what we're seeing right now. Because a
Mm-hmm.
shout out to OKC, they played well today.
Yeah.
Um, they came out, they did what they're supposed to do. In Indiana, man, they just don't stop.
Yeah.
They don't stop. It don't matter if they down 20, 30, 40, 200. Give them five
Don't
minutes in the
matter.
fourth quarter. They coming back. How him burden.
Yeah, man.
He
Man.
got on his dancing shoes. Shout out to Mike B's.
Tap
Yeah,
dance all
man.
over it.
Tap dance all over
Hit him with
it.
the
Uh, uh, uh.
And here's the cold part. SGA scored 38 points.
30.
38.
He came and he balled. He shot a little bit under 50%, did what he was supposed to do. But the
Man.
last 3 minutes of that game belong to Indiana Pacers. And it's no matter who the opponent is.
But
Right.
look, I also have to say this, man. They're not battle tested. I don't think OKC has really had to play someone that has the same exact layout or like the way
Pedigree.
that they construct their team, right? And I think on the other hand, Indiana has been forced to be in dogfights. They might not have even been the favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people had them out against the Bucks, right? Now in hindsight, we can see injuries and things like that, but you have to give credit where credit is due. That's why a few weeks ago I was like comfortable to say when I watch basketball, I remove my fandom from it and I'm just objective and I'm watching the game. When a team has 3 players have a double double, 6
Mm-hmm.
players in the double digits,
Mm-hmm.
and just little things like at the end of the game, the coaching decision to say, "Hey, Halliburton, go ahead and I'm not going to call a timeout because if I do, I'm going to let OKC set up."
Oh,
And so for me, those are things that you don't notice in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
And I think Halliburton has already seen it, so it's really hard for. And again, there's still 6 games left, but
Mm-hmm.
OKC is going to have to turn into a counter-punching boxer, so to speak, because the Pacers can match everything that OKC will bring to them. But that goes without saying, right? I think OKC just expects people to eventually kind of like, once they get that 10-point, 12-point lead,
Just
I
give
don't know
up.
if you guys noticed, they just jack up some threes to extend that lead, but that's where a
Mm-hmm.
team like the Pacers will slow the game down, get the free throws, execute, and then here you are, 2-point game, But I'm really just I'm becoming a big fan of how the Pacers have utilized their depth, because when Halliburton's not doing what he needs to do, or it's taking him some time to get started, we have Neesmith, Nembhard. It was just man, complete basketball right there.
And that's exactly like what excited me about this series. And it's in game one, we seen it. OKC led the way. Basically they were up the whole game. And at any moment, you knew the Pacers had, they had it in them to make a run and make it a game,
Yes,
in
sir.
which they did in the fourth quarter. But look, they played just like both sides played about 12, 11 to 12 people on both sides, because this is something we still ain't said, and I'm gonna be the first to say it. Obviously they're in the NBA finals, so it shouldn't have to be said, but when it comes to the Pacers, we all said the Pacers, nobody picked the Pacers to be here. But the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers are the two best teams in the NBA. They've been that. And they've been that, and that's why they could play so many guys. The overrated thing. Let's get to that, man. I gotta go back to the overrated, man, because
You got a bone to pick, huh?
I don't want to hear nothing about Tyrese Haliburton being overrated. I got
Never.
guys in mind that I'll get to later that I think is overrated, is more overrated than Tyrese. But the man just came into his first NBA Finals game and ended it with a game winner. There's not a player in NBA history that you could call overrated that has done that. Did he just shut all the haters up in one shot?
I think it ain't just been one shot. I think he had almost like 3 go ahead win game winners
Mm-hmm.
this playoff series.
Yep.
That alone right there should shut everybody up.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's shutting everybody up and telling them I'm here regardless of what you say. And I like
Mm-hmm.
the fact that he's doing that. And he's not constantly pointing it out. I know he knows exactly in the back of his mind that, yo, they call me overrated. I got something to prove. I got a chip on my shoulder. But I'm not gonna constantly point at it. I'm not gonna constantly tell y'all I heard what y'all said. He's going about it by a businessman and handling his business. I like what I'm saying. I haven't watched any other team this much in my life.
Mm-hmm.
In my life, the Indiana Pacers. So shout out to him, Burton. Haliburton.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he got overrated tattooed somewhere on him.
I would.
It's on his it's on his mind. I wouldn't be surprised. I would.
Nah, man.
I would put it somewhere where everybody in the NBA can see it every game.
Put it right here on
there.
his forehead. Overrated on his forehead. Next season, gonna be like Birdman, all the tattoos.
It's gonna be a big overrated tattoo right here. It's gonna go from here to here. It's gonna say overrated.
And speaking of overrated, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it because I feel like Tyrese Haliburton has gotten a short end of the stick, an undeserving short end of the stick. So I'm gonna throw my 2 cents in there. When I hear overrated, now there's not a player in the league that I would say is the most overrated person in the whole NBA. So I think that's flat out just disrespectful. But we gotta erase the overrated stigma from Tyrese Haliburton. when you got guys out here that Tyrese Haliburton has beat. Tyrese Haliburton has now done things that this person has not done. And that person I'm talking about, who I think is overrated, and I'm not saying the most overrated or anything crazy, but the player I think that's overrated was eliminated by the Indiana Pacers and Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell has gotten all kinds of credit, especially since that whole bubble series, just like Jamal Murray has or whatever. But ever since then, he's been a good player, right? And I think we all agree on that. And I think Tyrese Haliburton has been a good player. But Tyrese Haliburton has showed that I could play in big moments. There is no bigger moment than the NBA Finals, and he's showing that he can perform at the toughest moments in the NBA Finals. So wouldn't it be safe to say a guy like Donovan Mitchell is more overrated than Tyrese Haliburton, especially when you got knocked out by them?
I mean, I could jump on this one.
Yeah, that's tough. I would
Yes.
say Halliburton has had some big moments. I think he scored 70 points one game, if I'm not mistaken, or 70 something, which
Who,
is incredible.
Donovan?
Donovan
Yeah,
Mitchell.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm
Donovan.
sorry, Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would call him overrated, but I'm definitely putting Tyrese Halliburton over him now.
Oh, okay.
I'm putting Tyrese Halliburton over him because just of the clutchness, and him putting his team on his back and getting them to where they at. And I also would add, I think Donovan got more help than Tyrese Haliburton personally. So I'm not necessarily going to guess what you're saying, Mark, about him being overrated, but I definitely put Haliburton over him. But I wouldn't have put Haliburton over him before the playoffs.
Before this run.
No, I wouldn't. No.
And that's fair, because overrated that's a harsh word. That's a harsh word. Like, prior to this whole voting system of Tyrese being the most overrated, that's the other thing. The most overrated. It made me start thinking of players. And me and you talked, Jelani, about this off camera, and I was like, it's somebody to me that if Tyrese Haliburton is the most overrated, I was like, it's other, it's guys out there like Rudy Gobert that people, consider overrated. But I think he's another guy that just, he has his limitations. Just like Tyrese Haliburton has his limitations. So if you want to say overrated, sure, you could say it, but most is just ultimate disrespect. So that's why I was like, what? When I think about Donovan, I was like, well, what has he done? 70 points is impressive or whatever. Like, but we know he can score. Yeah. He can score the ball, but what success have you had? What statement wins have you had? How far have you went in the playoffs?
And the thing I'll probably just add, I was thinking of right now is I don't know if I could even really put one over the other. And let me explain why I say that. Donovan Mitchell started out in Utah, right? When's the last time Utah's been a relevant top 3 seed? Because the only time they were doing that was him as a relatively unknown 13th pick out of Louisville. So from that standpoint, it's like I understand the skill set, and I think the athleticism that Donovan Mitchell brings to the game, where he has that explosiveness. Like, he had a putback against the Lakers. That's like, I think, where the stardom started to really grow.
Yeah.
And on the other end, with Haliburton, he was in Sacramento. A lot of people had De'Aaron Fox pegged above him. So when he gets traded, it's almost like you're going from a small market to a small market. And that's where I see a similarity. Like, Donovan Mitchell went from Utah to Cleveland. In Cleveland, obviously, I think that's a better roster. But it doesn't present the same versatility. And I think Haliburton on both teams would be the most impactful player, right? Because Donovan Mitchell is going to try to get to his points, get to his spots.
Right.
But come playoff time, I've noticed that he's undersized, trying to play like a 2 and a 3.
Yep.
And it eventually lends itself for
injury
or just a person's use rate is just way too high. And, sloppy basketball and kind of what happened with Cleveland, just unraveling. So we have to live by what have you done for me today, and current memory serves, and like all that talk about what Halliburton wasn't.
Yep.
We do know what he is now. We know that
Yep.
he's clutch. He's not afraid of the moment, and I can't say that for probably 5 other players in the playoffs.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
I try to be objective in that, but I do think Halliburton being just a pure point guard and having that ability to put the shots up,
Mm-hmm.
that's what he has over Donovan Mitchell. So this whole overrated thing, and I told this to Jelani too, off the camera and everything, where it's like, as fans, we have to resist the urge to be like Skip Bayless, like even to an extent Stephen A. Like if you're giving good takes, that's great.
Yep.
But if you're just doing it to say he's overrated because I don't like the way he smirks when he hits that three,
Exactly.
that's really taken away from the value of the game.
Right.
Exactly.
There's somebody I've been watching for years that I will consider overrated, and they have way more talent around them. And look, this a shot, no shot, however you want to take it. But James Harden is one of the most overrated players I've seen.
Damn.
We get juicy today. That's what
Yeah.
that's what Tyrese Haliburton do to you. He start making things juicy around here.
And this is primarily because of what you said earlier. What have you done for me in meaningful games? What have James Harden done in meaningful games? Now, James Harden is probably one of the most talented scorers we've ever seen. Let me give him that. He's probably one of the. I think when he came out of OKC, we kind of knew his trajectory of where he was going. Top scorer of the league, best scorer of the league, doing what he do. But as far when it comes to wins and meaningful wins, give me James Harden in the regular season. If you can give me that in the playoffs, then we talking. But James Harden haven't won nothing. I don't think he's been to a conference final, a Western final, outside of OKC. Let me take that back. But think about it.
Houston, I think maybe the Houston Warriors. Was that the conference?
Houston Warriors.
It was.
That was kind of, yeah. So but he had an all-time. That was the all-time terrible Game 7.
Didn't they miss like 33? Something crazy.
Something crazy. So it's you cooking right now. Keep cooking. My bad.
Look, that's all. That's all I'm saying. Yes, Tyler still got more time. Tyrese, I'm sorry, I said Tyler. Tyrese still got more time in his career. But as far as me watching the NBA over these years, I will have to give that to James Harden. He a Cali boy, love always, but hey, James Harden, he just haven't been doing it for me.
See, and that's a good interesting take right there or whatever. Because like Adal said earlier, like, are any of these guys truly overrated? Like, of course not. They're in the NBA. They're some of the most talented players to play the game. Of course, they're not overrated. But when you throw around the word, and you label a guy, like I'm going back to Tyrese, the most overrated in the league, and you come up with him, like if I were to like really think about it, one, if I was an NBA player, I don't think I would have time to think about it or whatever. Like, I think I would also understand that I'm kind of just hating if I got a pick. But if I really had to sort through it, I'm sure the most overrated guy would be somebody on the bench. And I think it would be, noticeable if you're on that person's team. But there's no way you could pick a starter in the NBA and say this is the most overrated player in the league. But however, we're in the NBA finals. But I think that was a really, really good segue right there, because overrated. Can you imagine? There would be a commercial if Tyrese Haliburton wins a chip against SGA, who's arguably the best player in the league because he's the MVP. Obviously there's Joker out there or whatever, but for he's the best player in the league, SGA. And if Tyrese, the overrated kid, excuse me, goes and knocks off SGA and the best team in the NBA, there's going to be an overrated commercial. There has to be.
A quick question, man. Does he have a sponsorship for shoes?
He just got a shoe deal, or not just got a shoe deal, but they just released the shoe for the finals. The Halley ones, I think that's what it's called.
Do you know what brand he's under?
Who?
Puma.
Okay.
Oh, that's a
nice.
good pickup.
Him and LaMelo over there. That's what's up.
Let me make sure I'm saying that right. But I'm pretty sure he's with Puma. Yeah, and he came out with a pink, the Puma Halleys. I don't know if y'all can see that.
I can see it. Okay.
But see, that's the crazy part is he's got a pair of shoes on and it hasn't made its way to the West Coast. Like we on social media, this is the social media era. So it just came to mind when you said that. Like that commercial is gonna hit different, bro.
It's gonna be different, absolutely, man. If he wins a chip, and that's what else. Like Jelani said, this is what the NBA is about. This is when they want to talk about, how do you make the product better, is, eliminate all the outside noise, eliminate the theatrics, and make it all about basketball. And that's what OKC and the Indiana Pacers, led by Tyrese Haliburton and SGA, that's what they're doing. Like, none of us are fans of the Pacers or Thunder, but we're into this game just like it's our team, it's our all-time favorite player. Like, we're every game, especially with these two teams, every game is turned up. And that's what the NBA needs, is that parity of just knowing that I get to watch good basketball and enjoy the game. Like July said, like when Tyrese hit the shot for 35 seconds, maybe it was a minute, I ain't gonna lie. I was the biggest Tyrese Haliburton fan in the world, or I felt like it at least. And that happened all across the world. I seen all the smoke. They were doing a live stream of it or whatever, and you see Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, all them jump up because we're fans of the game first. Then it's the team, then it's your players and all that or whatever. But this is taking us back to basketball, man. And with it being about basketball, what did y'all think OKC did wrong in order to lose this game? Or did the Pacers just come and take it? Maybe it wasn't consensual. Did they just take it?
I'm sorry. Oh my God! It definitely wasn't.
Michael Beasley is gonna influence this whole pod, man. Shout out Michael Beasley, man.
Shout out to the Bees, man.
And Lance Stevenson.
Real quick, I just wanna just read two stat lines out loud, real quick. So if you look at Chet Holmgren, right? He only had 6 points.
Yep.
That's not cool. 6 points, 2 for 9 field goals. That's a problem.
He looked
right.
lost.
If he has a regular game that he usually does, Indiana can't come back. And if you look at the other second or third best player on the team, Jalen Williams, he had 17, which isn't bad, but he shot 6 for 19.
Yep.
Right. So he shot 40, maybe low 40s, high 30s percentage. So I think when you have a SGA who's putting up 30 points, your second and third player gotta be at least decent. And the second and third players didn't come up, but Adal made a good point, right? Indiana has 6 players in double figures. They came to play. So I think, Indiana took it, but at the same time, OKC, due to their second and third player not producing the way they should, made it easy for them to take it. If they come to play the way they're supposed to, there's no, right? There's no comeback tonight.
Right. Yeah.
It will still be a decent game. They maybe lose by 8 to 10 points.
Right.
But they don't come back, and OKC wins this game.
Mace, I see you over there cooking, man. I see you over there cooking.
He's letting him marinate right now.
Hey, you know what? The biggest thing I took away, and it's pretty simple, but they points off for turnovers. OKC. That's how they lost this game. I don't think they capitalized on all the turnovers the Pacers had in that first half, because then it was only down maybe 12 at halftime, where they easily could have been down 20.
Yeah.
Based off of all those turnovers. So I feel like that's where they didn't capitalize. I feel like that's where they lost the game. They made the game very hard for SGA, because he shot very inefficient this game.
Yep.
He got 38 points.
Yep.
What he shoot for? He shoot for what? I'm trying
to. I was just on it too.
It started to get better towards the end of the game, but it wasn't truly reflective of the type of game he had.
Yeah, the beginning.
SGA was 14 for 30, so that's about what, 48% or so.
And he shot 12 shots. What in the first quarter or 11 shots and had 12 points.
Up, man. He was
so that 11 shots and 12 points. That ain't efficient, but yeah, he got going a little bit at the end.
Yeah, so when you have those two things, happening in a game where you playing against a team like the Pacers, and I keep going back to them, but when you got a team like this and they've been known to come back, and they've proven it. Yeah. Not only throughout this series, they've been proven it against good teams. Like the teams they playing in these playoffs are very offensive, efficient teams. Yeah. Look at Cleveland. Cleveland was hurt a little bit in the beginning with no Garland, so I can get that. Right. But then you got Boston. You got Jason Tatum. Like, before Jason Tatum got hurt, they was whooping Boston. They came back twice. Well, down 20?
Was that Boston?
I think they came back at least once or twice when they was down 20.
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you got New York with Brunson. So they do a really good job on high-scoring teams. So when you got a OKC that's as deep and you don't capitalize on those turnovers, that's where you lose the game.
No, not Boston. Boston played New York. But it was Milwaukee.
Okay,
my bad. Yeah.
I was like, hold on. I'm like, Milwaukee first round, Cleveland second, and Knicks.
Yeah, the Knicks. Okay,
but still. But still,
you see those teams and they come back based on what they are just capable of doing. So that right there just shows you can't let a team like that just kind of sit around and you not capitalizing on their mistakes, because they'll come back and bite you.
Yeah.
Seen it today.
Yeah.
And they did build this like energy towards their team, because let's just backtrack a little bit, right? How did Rick Carlisle end up there? He wasn't really too excited about the changes going on in Dallas. Finds himself over there. They make the trade to get Sabonis out. We've all followed that. But I think today, and I briefly mentioned it earlier, it's knowing he's sending in two players. Who are my two best players according to the film, according to the analytics team? And for me, there's a very simple answer. The game today was decided by Andrew Nembhard.
Another fellow Canadian to SGA.
Yeah. And there was a lot of, that's you're kind of walking me down the path I wanted to go, Mark. There's a lot of Canadian inter rivalry, right? A lot of these dudes, they probably knew each other in the prep academy programs when they got to the collegiate level. And then, of course,
you can see, sorry to cut you off, but you can see how at the end, Nembhard was sizing SGA up.
You seen the little bump? You seen the bump at the free throw line, right?
Yeah, this was real. This was
And I think,
again, in the words of Beasley, this was sexy. This was real sexy.
It was time to put in the work, though. And I really will say that, man. It's apparent that I think SGA and a lot of the European or international players, the big thing that they have when they come to the NBA is they don't have the conception of so-and-so's courtside. So it's like, I'm here to play. This is my life. Basketball. This is my profession. A lot of young, Luka is the best example that we have of that, but Ricky Rubio as well. There's players that have came from different places, very young age. But again, I think when you know how someone grew up, how someone maybe elevated their game over the last 15 years that they've been playing ball,
Mm-hmm.
you're on the biggest stage. It's either
Yep.
now or never. And I think the Pacers around the third quarter, towards the end of that third quarter, they just were like, we will never have a game one like this. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And you could see it with like the threes they were hitting. Like, but yeah, man, Andrew Nembhard, man, the Toronto toughness, I have to give respect to Toronto. They are, he might not even be from Toronto. Let me just say Canada.
Canada,
Um, they're, like Luguentz Dort.
yep.
Dort, I remember him during COVID, where he, during the bubble time, like where he carved a lane for himself. But
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, today it was like it's really just been Neesmith and Nembhard, depending on who wants to take over, right? So
Yep.
today
And
it
they
was
both
Nembhard's turn, man.
and they both hit shots down the stretch.
Yeah,
Neesmith struggled most of the game, but he hit a big three at the in the fourth, late in the fourth. That kind of, again, I think he's that spark plug when it comes to that team. He's battery pack, semi like that Draymond Green for the Warriors. Like, he gets everybody else going, with his energy on defense, whether it's making a shot, whatever the case may be.
that
But
boy's even keeled too, man. He hit a big
all the
shot.
time,
Just
all the time.
I said, all right, bro, you've been here before.
Yeah, and you need those type of players, especially to compete for a championship, to come back after trailing double digits, felt like majority of the game or whatever. But now the Pacers are who they are. And the reason I think the OKC Thunder gave this one up. And I think it's because the reason Dalen said, last time we recorded, I think it was coach or whatever. One thing he did that I didn't agree with is he changed the starting lineup, even though, Kason Wallace is a, tremendous young player, could play defense, he can shoot the ball, but there was no reason to take Isaiah Hartenstein out of the starting lineup. Like, you didn't even see it. It's just like, oh, well, the Pacers are going to be small, so we're going to go small. Let them make you go small. How about that? Like, don't make it. Yeah, like, make an adjustment. Don't change who you are just because this is what you think they're going to do.
Right.
Meanwhile, when Hardenstein and Chet, and I guess I'll defend Chet a little bit, but 6 points is unacceptable. 6 points, 6 rebounds, 24 minutes. Hardenstein had, I think, 11 and 9, and in 17 minutes. They need more minutes, especially Hardenstein. When the Thunder were up, OKC was winning. I mean, no, when the Thunder was up, the bigs were playing. That's what I meant to say. But as soon as you took them out, that's when all the problems happened. That's when everything went the wrong way. So I think it was coaching, and that was what Dalen said last week. He was like, if OKC lose this series, it's because the coach is going to out-coach himself. And that's what I think he did. Yeah. And obviously, we could keep going on and on and on about this game. And I'm not even cutting this off because we're at the 30-minute mark. I'm cutting it off because I don't know where my charger is. And my low battery signal just went off. So we could be out of here in any minute. But any quick thoughts before it kick us off? I don't want to cut you off.
I got one quick shout out. I want to give a shout out to my nephew, Kalon Mason. He just signed to the University of New Havens in Connecticut to continue playing basketball. So he's going to be
congratulations, man.
His next 2 years in Connecticut. So shout out to nephew, man. Keep doing your thing, boy. Keep going.
Shout out to Fresno.
Yes, sir.
Fresno all the way.
Yes, sir, man. Shout out Kalon, man. Keep doing it. And that's what we gonna do. We gonna do like the Pacers. We gonna keep doing it. But we gonna close this one out, man. The game one of the NBA Finals is a wrap. and the Indiana Pacers, and Mr. Overrated himself, Tyrese Haliburton, are up 1-0 over the
Hey
Thunder.
man,
38-point
One
performance
game.
for SGA. And this is the closers. And until game 2, which is Saturday,
I think it's Sunday, bro.
the Sunday, this
I think
weekend,
so.
we out.